We're gonna switch it up. We've been talking about movies now for a little while, so let's talk about gaming. Do we have any gaming fans in the chat? Let me know. There's been so much stuff to talk about lately, but um, I'll hit some of the high points. I think I know everyone that is following the gaming scene right now. The PS5 and the Xbox Series systems. They just did their pre-orders. They were, of course, a horrid mess as they are every time any company does pre-orders for these sorts of things. Nobody could get them. Everybody calling, long lines, all that stuff. But they've sold out of all the pre-orders, I think, of PS5 going into the holiday season, unless something happens and they get some more made. And probably a similar story with the Xbox Series pre-orders. I'm interested to see more so on the other side of what happens with the sales. Like they make so many, of course, right off the hop, they're going to sell every one of them they make because all these people get really hyped up for the new systems and they go out and they pick them up right away. Because I think that at the PS5 price point, which is $200 to $100 more than the Xbox, and the Xbox, they're really pushing them this generation. They've got an installment plan where you can pick up the new Xbox and pay like with zero down and with no overage fees and all that stuff. You can pay monthly and get yourself an Xbox with Game Pass, and you actually save money on buying it that way. That I'm interested to see how the whole thing shakes out. But it's time will tell. Of course, both of them would sell out right now. But in the midst of all that, like I said, I feel like Microsoft they're like, we really want to win the first couple of months to a year of this thing. They went out and they bought Bethesda, which is just a megaton thing. It's unbelievable. It was $7.5 billion. Bethesda Softworks has been around since the 80s, making games for like computers and stuff. They've got some of the biggest series and stuff going on right now. They already own some big companies, so they already own. Let's see, id, which they made Doom, so they own Doom now. They've made they've acquired other systems, other companies along the way, so they already own like this huge, they own Minecraft. Interestingly enough, because of this whole deal, this whole merger, Microsoft is actually technically putting two timed PlayStation 5 exclusives out during the PlayStation launch because they picked up Bethesda, who was putting out two games that were only going to come out on PlayStation for the first year or something like that, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. So it's a totally bizarre. The landscape's completely changed with this with them acquiring Bethesda. It's a pretty crazy deal. It's scary because this sort of thing happens all over all big companies now. You got Disney buying everybody up now, Microsoft's buying everybody up. We're getting closer and closer to monopolies every time I look around. But it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out too. They picked up id. They picked up Tango Gameworks, which is Shinji Mikami. To get back on the horror loop, Shinji Mikami is the guy who created Resident Evil. Later on, he went on to make Evil Within, and now he's making this Ghostwire Tokyo game, which looks really good. It's going to be a PS5 console exclusive at first, and on PC eventually it'll make its way to Microsoft, especially now that they own it. Nintendo, you got to put them in there a little bit. They have the Super Mario 35th anniversary going on right now. So they launched this weird timed release, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, where they took three of the biggest 3D Mario games, put them in one game for the Nintendo Switch, and they're like, you can buy it until March, and then it's not going to be there anymore, which of course made a bunch of people go out and pay, $70 to $80 for three games that were poorly emulated. Most people are not happy with the package that they got, but they bought it all up because they were so scared about not getting it tomorrow. So it worked. Nintendo does that stuff all the time. So I thought that was fairly interesting. But they are celebrating Super Mario with all kinds of other things. They've got this weird time digital exclusive Super Mario 35. Where you can play Super Mario against 35 other players at once or something like that. It just dropped today. I didn't get a chance to play it. That's only going to be available for a short period of time. There's a short window on that too. Again, I don't know what the mentality is on that. And they've launched this Game & Watch Super Mario edition. The Game & Watch was an old digital LCD handheld thing that Nintendo put out a long time ago. They sell for stupid money now to collectors. They like to get their hands on them. anyway, they basically took the original one, kind of made this new little digital device that looks like it, put Super Mario on it, and they're selling this thing for like $80. And people are just scooping this up like crazy too. I just can't understand it. You can play Super Mario on anything these days.
Yeah.
But they've got it on this little thing. I guess it's for collectors. They want to have it, the box and everything, put it on their shelf and all that stuff. But just kind of blew me away that they were doing that. And the final thing I wanted to talk about was Amazon Luna. So Google last year launched this new streaming service where you can stream games to pretty much any device, your laptop to a Google Chromecast, anything with a good Wi-Fi connection, and you can play PC level games. So games running at 4K, 60 frames per second or higher on your TV, even if you don't have a gaming PC, which is incredibly expensive or prohibitive to have that kind of. Anyway, it didn't quite work out that well. They charge money for their service, and then you still have to buy games, which is just bizarre. But anyway, Amazon, they partnered up with Ubisoft. They've come out with Amazon Luna, which I think is just going to kill Stadia at this point. It's the same concept. You can just hook up a Fire TV to your TV or use a laptop, get a controller, sync it up. You pay $6 a month. You get like 100 games, and you can stream those games PC quality right to whatever device. They are going to add options where you can add channels apparently later for extra money, which will get you more games. So that's how they'll get you to pay a little bit more for it. But with a base price of like $6, I think it's $50 to get the controller. But I don't think you need it. You can probably use any controller you have around the house and sync it up. I just think this thing's going to slaughter Google Stadia at this point. And they're also partnered up with Twitch, which is the big streaming platform for gamers. So that's going to make it easy to just launch that and stream and stuff like that. I just think it's going to just kill it. But those are kind of the big topics that I noticed in the last while. Does anybody else on the panel? Jamie, I know you like the game. Do you have any thoughts about what's been going on lately?
I plan on getting the PS5. I don't know when. It probably won't be a pre-order for me. I'll probably wait until I actually can go into like GameStop or something and buy one. But there is a game coming out October 30th, and it's called Little Hope. And it's part of the Dark Anthology series, which is it right now. It includes Until Dawn and Man of Medan, and then now it'll be Little Hope. And they're going to make 8 total games, each a different story, always horror. And I am going to make sure that I get every single one of those games because I bought the PlayStation because of Until Dawn. If they wouldn't have come out with Until Dawn, I may have just stuck with the Xbox because, we were an Xbox family here. We've had an Xbox 360 all this time, and my son has an Xbox One. So we were always Xbox before. But I saw this Until Dawn come out, and I said, holy, I have to get that because that looks fun. It's fun. I don't know if you've played it. If you haven't played it, you have to play it. It's like throwing yourself into the middle of a horror movie. And the first one, especially, Until Dawn, has a twist where you think you're in one kind of movie and then it turns out you're in a totally different kind of movie. So I'm not going to say what the twist is in case, people want to play it. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's super fun. Y'all should play it. And this Little Hope game coming out, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. But it seems interesting to me. So I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Get yourself a PlayStation and get the Dark Pictures Anthology series because I think it's going to be like Silent Hill in the end.
And that's exclusive to PS, right?
That is no, because Little Hope is going to come out on an Xbox version.
Okay.
And they might have the others in an Xbox version, but I'm not positive. Until Dawn, maybe they're exclusive, and then everything else might be for both, but I'm not sure.
So I think that's one of the things that's going to give PlayStation an edge up here is the exclusive games that they have. But I mean, on the surface, I mean, in my opinion, the Xbox wins big time just because price point. It's a much faster, and they've got some sort of I forget what they call it, but the memory is supposed to be like really quick, so it's going to be really short load times, and they've got the all digital version, which we all knew this was coming, which you have to download the games on it. There is no physical game anymore. But that thing's only $300, and it's like $25 a month for 24 months, and you get 2 years of Game Pass with that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a great deal. I mean, Game Pass is great. Like, I haven't bought a game in a year.
If you do the math, you actually save money. I think on the Series S, which is the streaming only one, it's not as much. But I think if you do the Xbox Series X and you do this all access Xbox thing, you actually save like $60 on the total console.
Mhm.
Plus, you've got Game Pass for 2 years, like you said, which is crazy. You can, like, any game that they put out a new Halo, you can just go get it and play it. Like, you don't got to go pay 80. And these games are going to get so pricey now with the consoles that they're selling now they're very expensive consoles. They're fairly powerful. Like PlayStation, they haven't. I think Microsoft's taken a hit on the consoles, honestly.
Yeah.
And they've got this Game Pass thing. It's $16.99 a month. It's Netflix for games. They've got tons of stuff. I think they're hoping to recoup some of that, because if you're going to buy these games at retail, they're going up. They're definitely, like, I know in Canada right now it's like $80 for a game. I wouldn't be surprised. I think I saw on Amazon the other day some of the pre-orders for the new PlayStation 5 games were over $100.
Yeah.
I know they do that sometimes. Like, they'll put them out there and they'll be like $115, and everybody will go, what? And then the price will come down to a more normal price eventually. But you are going to see a lift in the price of these games to kind of offset the cost of these consoles, because they are fairly powerful. The PlayStation, I think, technically gets a little bit more on Xbox power wise, but like you said, the price point, you can't beat that. I just think that they're just going to trounce them. I think that PlayStation is going to have to come up with some kind of a similar, PlayStation Network, PlayStation Now.
They have PS Now, which is the exact. It's you can play like 600 games for one price, every month, and
they got to up
pretty
that.
awesome.
They got to up that ante. They got to start putting the new games on there, make the price maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And they are kind of, they've started, like, they've released recently, one of their hot games, Horizon Zero Dawn, went to PC. And so I think you're going to see more of that. They're going to start to try and kind of bifurcate a little bit, get their stuff on other platforms and sell. Because right now, like, you look at Microsoft, the other day they announced for the Nintendo Switch, they've got this the new Ori game, which is one of their hot indie games, is getting a release on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, Microsoft is releasing a special edition and everything on another console. It seems crazy, but they're getting their games elsewhere. They're making money off that too. It seems crazy coming from being an old school gamer, and there were lines drawn. You were Sega, you were Nintendo. Now all of a sudden, like, there's blurring going on, and I think you're going to see more of that. And I think PlayStation needs to step into it a little bit, because I mean, they're always going to. I say this, but the PS4, that thing sold like hotcakes. The PS2 sold like crazy too, but the PS4, and it was evergreen, man. I think if you went to go buy a PS4 right now, you would still pay full price for that thing. You could go buy an Xbox One X or whatever for much cheaper, but for PS4 you'd still be paying pretty much retail price for that thing now, and the PS5's coming out, so they are kind of on top of the heap as far as sales and stuff like that go. But things, I think, could shift, and I still think that the Switch is going to outdo everybody this holiday season, because they have a price point. They already have a lot of games available, and this whole pre-order thing, they're going to be limited with that. So, but
if you could find one, hell, that was a few months ago. I had the money to get one, and I couldn't find one anywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to wonder too, with COVID and everything like that, how easy it is for them to manufacture this stuff right now. So
that's what they told me. It was COVID was the reason why. Like, the quarantine hit, and everyone went and bought a Switch, so they're like basically bought out all the North American inventory.
Conspiracy.
But, I mean,
it's paper and Switches. That's what everybody wanted.